First of all, we're going to have Hilaire Diarra, and as I said, Abel and Karin. So Hilaire is Head of Sustainability for Africa and Middle East for Barrick. Hilaire was supposed to be here in person, but unfortunately his visa didn't come through. So we are going to be doing it online. So Hilaire, we appreciate you getting up very early in the morning in Mali, which is 2 hours behind us. So you guys thought you had an early start. Hilaire's at a lot earlier start there. So Hilaire spent a lot of time on the mine, very large Lulo mine, working his way through the ranks there. He's got a degree, BSc Honours from Pretoria, MSc from Delft. He was then seconded to Tanzania to get Barrick established there. And if anybody knows working in Tanzania, it's a challenging place. So Hilaire did a great job there. And he's now back in a Africa, Middle East role, dealing with safety, health, environmental issues. So Hilaire, hopefully you can hear us and then carry on. We're going to try and project here. So Hilaire is just going to say next slide so that we get the control here. We're going to give our speakers 10, 15 minutes, and then we're going to Q&A after that.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Graham, for the introductions. Good morning, everyone in Cape Town there. It's always a pleasure for me to come to the Digby Wells traditional breakfast, sustainability breakfast. When I was asked to do these presentations, Graham told me, okay, you need to come in and then share your experience of the 25 years of journey of Randgold, now Barrick, with the people, and you've got 10 to 15 minutes. So I thought, wow, so I've got a tough job here. But luckily I've tried to summarize everything into 12 slides, and then hopefully I'll give you the key principles of my experience with Barrick in Africa, especially. Next slide, please. As you all know, mining contributions is diverse, and I'm sure you know this, but this is just a reminder for everyone in the audience. So, as a mining project, there are direct effects to the economy, the direct spending of mining in the form of taxes and other payment to the government, the capital expenditures, operating expenditures, the spending on human capital. And if you look at where in Africa all these mining projects are located, it's almost all in low-income countries. And then in the form of foreign direct investment, that make up 60 to 90%. Export goes over to 70%, mining contributions, government revenue from 20 to 30%, mining contributions. And on top of these direct effects, we have indirect effects, also employment, skill development, local supplies, community spending, and the employment of mining in this part of the world amount to 2 to 3% of the total employment in a country. Next. So I've called this the pie, and this is just a summary of what I just said. If you look at the local level of mining contribution, when you start a mining project, you've got a lot of influx of people or material. So I'd like all of you to look at this with a positive lens. When I say influx, usually in the social sphere, people would think of that as something to kind of a risks, but look at people coming in with skills, material in the community that would otherwise be isolated. So we've got the influx of people, we've got local employment, local supply, we've got the infrastructure development. A mining project would develop road access, communications. There are villages with no cell phone networks, but with a mining project, the village would suddenly be open to to the world via all these IT technologies. We've got community fund, we've got the taxes, levies, and that translates also to the country levels, which I've also said. But we've got customs, royalties, dividends, forex, local supply also, and employment. So this is the pie. This is any mining projects in Africa would have some form of contribution as highlighted on this slide. Next. So for Barrick, Randgold, as I've said, Randgold started 26 years ago in Africa. So it was started by Mark Bristow, and our CEO of Barrick today. And he came to Africa, and then he had a clear policy and leadership. He knew exactly what he wanted to do in Africa. And he's always said it, to develop world-class operations in Africa, you have to do it with Africans. So he was clear from the start, and he's always been disciplined and faithful to that policy. So the clear policy and leadership is very important. The local team, as I said, you need local content. There is no way around it to maximize that benefit. Strengthening local and national institutional development partners. Usually these communities around us, they've got their own administrative system, but usually it's not a world-class system. They need some strengthening, and also sometimes the host government also is not as strong to capture the value created the mining projects, and as a mining company, you work with them as partners and improve that. Of key is the supply chain integration to the local economy. Mining is a force for good. There is a lot of value created, but usually you would see the upstream value is not in the host country because of the weak capacity of manufacturing or industrialization. So it's very important to have a plan in terms of supply integration. Environmental programs, and that has also been one of the key success factors for Randgold in Africa. It's about undertaking ambitious environmental conservation programs, because low-income countries, the forests would soon be gone because people will be turning to making, to getting their energy from the forest, and it's so investing in that to reverse the trends and make a massive difference. Next. So I've spoken about the clear policy and strategy, and this has governed Barrick Randgold approach for the past 25 years in Africa. And I'll get into that and give you fact and figures shortly. But the first is to creating economic benefits. You have mines. Your first responsibility, as our CEO like to say, is you need to optimize your operation. That's mean every single value that you can capture or create needs to be created. That's your first responsibility to your stakeholders. And then you've got your employees, of course, and the community, the health and safety and the human rights of people, and then the environment. Next. As I said, the pie that I've shown to you in the previous slides, in the past, the policy or the traditional belief was, I need to get a bigger share, our community needs to get a bigger share, or government, or the mining project, and this concept has been recently been advocated again by Barrick CEO. Instead of thinking of sharing the pie, our focus has been to grow the pie. Because as I've said, a mining project, people will anyway benefit. You've got the direct, you've got the indirect, but you also got the induced effect. So instead of focusing on maximizing it for ourselves, what if we grow the pie? So the shares of everyone will grow together. And that has really been our key success to secure our social license to operate across our communities. Next. And in that, this is in AME, Africa and Middle East, we've got, in total, we are about 24,000 employees, including contractors, but the direct employees of Barrick is 9,000 employees, and 94% of those are country nationals. And the fact, what I wanted to underscore here is Barrick or Randgold started this way ahead of his peers in the industry, and very soon the Loulo-Gounkoto mine, for example, in Mali, which is one of the biggest tier 1 mine in the world, is fully run by Malians. You know, we've got our mine in Ivory Coast, fully run by Ivorians. The GM is Ivorian, and all the management is Ivorians. And we've now moved into Tanzania. It's the same philosophy that we're adopting there. Recently, as Graham introduced, my replacement as the country manager is a Tanzanian woman. And then we've also got the general manager for the first time in North Mara there, who is a Tanzanian, been with us since Loulo, and now he's been appointed general manager of the North Mara gold mine with a fully fledged management team Tanzanian. And that's really underscore. It's nowhere easy to do it, because we've all said low-income countries, poor education, so a lot of things. And I'm a product of that, because I benefited from a bursary program from Randgold to go to South Africa to study. And today I've been given the responsibility to lead. So I was really a witness, the discipline, the policy, and execution, the discipline executions of this local content policy advocated by the leadership of Randgold. Next. So this is how we did in Africa and Middle East in terms of the local shares in our spending. As you can see, the line represents the percentage local spend. And from 2019, this is when Randgold and Barrick merged. And you can see the steady growth of the local shares in our spending. And this is really also important to secure your social license to operate. Next. So when I say local spend or local contractors, it's not just lip service. We're talking about key projects. It's not, it's not just your office supplies and all this simple stuff. It's hardcore projects. For example, in the DRC, now our hydro stations is being built by Congolese contractors, and whoever knows Kibali it was an isolated part in Congo with open roads. And the pictures on your left is Feni in the middle, greeting Mark Bristow and John Steele, our head of projects. And he was owning a small shops when we started in the Kibali area. Of course, he's a born entrepreneur, because owning a small shop in that part of Congo means he had to travel weeks to get to the neighboring country, Uganda, buy those supplies and come and open his small shops. So when he had the opportunities with the visions of the mine, he grew quickly to one of the best civil engineering company in the Congo, and he's got more than 700 employees today, and he's the mastermind in the construction of the hydro station that you see on your right in the picture. We've done the same in Mali. Actually, that's where it's all started, and the policy and the vision of local content was put into practice with companies like SFTP, now Corica. I'm sure a lot of people will bump into Corica during this mining endeavor. They're now all over Africa. They've got more than 4,000 employees, and they started really with us with our sponsoring of the hauling of ore from our Gounkoto mine to the Loulo, where we provided them with a seed loan and bought trucks, Volvo trucks for them in our mine. We've got AGTF, same thing, started with us in 1995 was a mason, simple mason. Now is one of the big infrastructure company also across Africa. Yara Oil, we had Ben & Co as our fuel supplier, and then now replaced with Yara Oil, which is now expanding beyond horizon in Mali. And we started the same thing in Tanzania, as we've done 25 years ago in Mali, because it's a winning strategy, and that's what we believe in. Next. One key thing of suppliers in Africa, because you want to grow the pie and you want to improve or strengthen the capacity of people to capture value of the project. So the suppliers, as you'll see in Africa, a lot of suppliers have some road to travel in terms of capacity. So we started the training programs with you identify key suppliers, you look at the business structures, you see if you can help them with finance, or structuring, or even the governance of the project. It's very common in Africa to see businesses where the CEO is his own finance manager, it's his own HR manager, and he does not have time to think strategy to grow his business. So we've started really giving training the businesses across our operation, so that those businesses also can create value in the wider economy in the country. So we have a program in Mali, started one in Tanzania, about to start in Zambia, and also then Ivory Coast and DRC will follow. Thanks. Next. As I've said, I've talked about the environmental conservation project. This is actually one of the key success factor, because imagine you've got a mining project. Of course, you've got your protected footprint where you have your biodiversity intact, and across or around you in the community, you'll see trees will start disappearing. People will start having a lot of negative impact on the resources. The best decisions as a mine that you can do is to look at the country. For example, a country like Mali, where it's a Sahelian country, its forest is reducing at a rapid rate, and the best contribution you can do to the nation is to invest in protecting areas and raise awareness of the people around conservations. And usually that doesn't look like a mining project, because traditionally people would think of boreholes or small schools or whatever, but you move beyond that. And that's what we've done in the Congo, where we now are planning to reintroduce white rhinos in the Garamba. I'm sure the CEO has made the announcement. Many of you have seen that in the news. And in Zambia, where our operations is close to what we call the Eka Forest, we're now rolling out an ambitious programs of conservation of that forest, and we would then match that and for the first time generate carbon credit for that, and we're doing that with the local community and the government. We were one of the few companies that supported also the desert elephant in Mali. And as you know, there are only two groups of those elephants in Africa, one in Namibia and the other one in Mali. And because of the security crisis, the number was reducing rapidly. So we've invested and actively followed up on the programs to preserve these elephants. There is more, but these are key projects and the concept that I wanted to give you that makes a difference. Next. GHG is one that we also invest in. It's a global issue, and Barrick in Africa is really advocating this in our countries, working with government, and recently I've put in place 20 megawatt solar plant in Mali, and we increasing that to 60, and that would be the biggest solar plant in the whole West Africa, on top of our Kibali hydro programs. Next slide. And this is the result. What started off as in Africa now is global, and we are enjoying a partnership, a real relationship with our host countries in Africa. You have seen what we did in Tanzania with our belief, our strategy, and it really pays good dividend, as Mark would say. And today, from Africa, look at how we've expanding, and it's still continuing. Thank you very much.